Man, it just goes from bad to worse for the Baltimore Ravens in 2025. As you take a look at the injury report, 7 Week 1 starters out in Week 5. 5 of those guys on defense, and it showed up in a big way. In addition to that, 7 of 2024 Pro Bowlers were also out in Week 5. So it has been tough sledding for this Baltimore roster, and this is why I said it was really challenging. 44 points. The Houston Texans picking up a big win there as they win it 44-10. The Ravens are the first team in 71 years, guys, to allow 37 plus in 4 of their first 5 games since the 1954 Washington team. I'm not sure what their mascot was back then. I was going to say Redskins, but I'm not sure. They've changed it so much. Either way, there are some big concerns going on in Baltimore as we welcome you back to Game Day Recap. Guys, obviously a lot of bad happening right now, kind of understandably so. We laid out the injuries there. Damien, when you look at Baltimore, the concern level here, is this a playoff team in your opinion as they currently stand? Well, as of right now, no. Now, does that mean they don't have time to get there? No, they definitely can. I mean, when you get Lamar Jackson back, you get some guys on defense back, you definitely have some good things going for you. But what I want to talk about is the most concerning thing for me. It's not even the defense. Let's look at Derrick Henry. Now, we have talked about the fumbling issue, but what's even more important than, well, I shouldn't say more important because there's nothing more important than hold on to the football, but he's only averaging 3.4 yards a carry. And I mean, he went for 170 almost against the Bills, and then since then, it's just been nothing. We haven't seen anything of him, and I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if the offensive line is playing a part, or the fact that Lamar Jackson being hurt closes and condenses some of those lanes and makes the box a little bit tighter. But obviously defensively, we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of issues, but if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you didn't sign Derrick Henry to all this money for this. At least not for this. To have him running for 3.4 yards a carry, that's not a Derrick Henry problem. That's a team totality not being able to run the football well enough problem. And that's nothing that we've ever talked about with the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, here's the thing. In Derrick Henry's run style, we're talking about a 6'2", 6'3", 250-pound runner that Derrick has to build momentum to get going. You have to be able to create runs to allow Derrick Henry to get to his 5th step, but to get him rolling. And then so these teams have been able to restrict his entry point, to the hole, which now he gets him to stop his feet, and now you don't have that quick start. And so you saw that today. They were held to 44 yards rushing today. But here's the other thing that's taken the Baltimore run game away is the leads. The other team has come into these games with some big leads, and now you have to throw the ball, which takes Derrick Henry out of the football game. And so that takes away from his numbers as well. And then you go back to the previous weeks where he put the ball on the ground 3 games in a row. All of this stuff is now starting to snowball. And is Baltimore out of it? No. But they're going to have a hell of a hill to climb whenever Lamar is back if they're dropping games at this rate and you're playing the rest of the season chasing. And we all know what's that's like for teams that are chasing at the end. You're grasping, and then that leads to some inefficient play because you're chasing points and you're chasing wins, which now gets you out of character, and you start doing things that are not conducive really to you winning, but you're just trying to chase these wins because you're trying to make up.
They've had a lot of injuries on defense, but even when guys have been on the field, they have stunk.
They gave up 500 yards of offense to the Bills in Week 1.
It's a terrible, terrible defense. And the identity of the Baltimore Ravens has always been defense. I'm going to smack you in the mouth. I'm going to beat the daylights out of you. You're going to feel it when you play us, and you're going to feel it the next week when you play your next game. Not that way anymore. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens won a championship with the defense that was the best scoring defense of all time. They were suffocating. They were big, they were physical, and they hit you. This defense doesn't even come close to that. When they were on the field, Roquan Smith, who didn't play today, Marlon Humphrey, all of them, when they're on the field, they're supposed to be a dominant defense. We haven't seen that one bit at all, whether it's getting thrown on, getting run on, or whatever. And you're right. When you take the field and you know you can't stop anybody, that takes Derrick Henry out of the game, and it puts more pressure on the quarterback when Lamar Jackson was in there to make plays. This team isn't very good right now, and quite frankly, you're starting to hear rumblings about Harbaugh and his job security. I don't necessarily agree with that right now, by the way, because they've had so much success in his tenure, but has it gotten stale? Has the message been tuned out? Did they put too much into, hey, We're going to look to the postseason because we know whatever we do in the regular season doesn't matter. Our quarterback can win MVPs. We're looking to the postseason. And sometimes you look to the postseason and you forget about what you have to do in the regular season. It comes back to bite you in the behind.
I don't want to jump on the John Harbaugh hot seat train by any stretch of the imagination.
It's out there, though.
I don't. Yeah, and it is.
Fans too. I mean, I mentioned
yeah,
that they were booing him.
They were
today.
booing him, and I just want to preface what I'm going to say by saying I'm not jumping on that train right now. But what I will say is, when you have a coach who has a certain style, like John Harbaugh does, who has a certain way he runs his program, like John Harbaugh does, when they start to not be able to run the ball, like John Harbaugh teams can do. They don't play good defense. They're not physical. They don't out-tough anybody. Now they're becoming a very penalized team on top of that, which, again, is not a John Harbaugh coach football team. That's why these hot seat conversations start to begin. It's not because, oh, we don't like John Harbaugh. We think he sucks. No. It's his team is not playing the way that he is coaching. So can he not motivate them to do that anymore? Is it not connecting anymore? Or is he just not getting enough out of his players? And regardless of what the circumstance is, it starts with the head coach.
I'll say this. This Baltimore defense ranks in the bottom third in 10 statistical categories, including dead last in points allowed coming into the week. And to follow up on your point about the messaging, right? Baltimore hasn't particularly drafted and developed like Baltimore usually does. This is a very veteran-laden team where you have a ton of veterans from other places, and now you got to try to indoctrinate these people into the Baltimore way, when there was a time where you just rolled with the guys that you drafted and guys that you brought in that just came in and knew what it was like to be a Baltimore Raven. So instead of, in my personal opinion, instead of putting John Harbaugh on a hot seat or getting rid of John Harbaugh, it's time to flip this roster with guys that know what it means to be a Baltimore Raven and have your own guys, and then get rid of some of the veterans.
Real quick on Harbaugh, remember, Tomlin was on the hot seat last year. They talked about it. Your coach, Bill Belichick, was fired. Don Shula was fired. They all eventually get fired at some point. It's just, when do you do it? I don't think now's the time for John Harbaugh. But if this team is a disaster the rest of the way, provided he gets guys back, then there's going to be a conversation at the end of the year.
Let's put a bow on this. If we had a panic meter, 1 is like, I'm not really that worried, it's just a rough stretch. 5 is like DEFCON 1. Where are we at with the Ravens right now, Dame?
I'm 3, right in the middle. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement. I think they can get back to a 5, or they can go down to a 1. I think it's either way, but right now they're not very good on offense. They're not very good on defense. It's not full panic mode because, again, you get Lamar Action Jackson back and you get some guys on defense, but right now you're not looking very good.
I don't know what you expect this team to do with 7 Pro Bowlers out.
It's hard.
I mean,
that's the hand you're dealt, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and yes, you have to make do with what you have. But there's only so many good football players that are available to you to sign at this point, and especially to fill in for Pro Bowl. This is just the cards they were dealt. They're not the only team dealing with injuries. And we have seen teams over previous years kind of lose their season because of injuries and be affected by injuries. This is just something that the Baltimore Ravens are going through right now that's unprecedented for them. To me, this is no reason to raise the flag on Harbaugh or DeCosta or anybody over there. This is just the cards they're dealt in 2025.
But start competing. I mean, at least show up and compete.
Be competitive.
I mean, okay, you play with a backup quarterback. We get it. You had guys out, but go compete. They didn't compete today, and that's the worst part of it.
How worried are you?
It's a 4.
Okay.
But
Brand, you didn't give 1.
No, I said a 1.
Oh, you said a 1. Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so there's some concern there. Do want to give a shout out to CJ Stroud, by the way, one of his best games to this point of the season. So I had a really great.
Looking a little fast today, huh?
His athleticism, right?
Yeah, you got into it.
You know who wasn't looking good today, guys? It's Pete's favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. Boy, did you think that they were going to roll into Charlotte and leave with an L. No Tyreek, a lot of problems for Mike McDaniel and his capri pants. We're going to break it down on the other side.